welcome back everyone to a very exciting edition of the Historyologist podcast, Battle Royale edition.
Where we're going to find out definitively, once and for all, who has the best god or gods.
We are once again joined by our stalker / friend Tim.
A man off the street.
Is it because, public opinion was such that he had to come back, or do we record 2 or 3 of these on the same day? I'll leave it to the listeners to decide that one.
I'll never tell.
Lions are cats.
So today we're a little bit different to what the normal nonsense we talk about. We've got a battle royale of gods nonsense, where it's just a classic knockout, 16 gods of various cultures and ethnicities and
May or may
backgrounds.
not be a god.
It's
Your standard format for these kind of matchups.
But it's a question that's been asked, presumably forever. I don't know, but probably. Who has the best gods? I thought, let's actually work it out, because not all cultures are equal.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose back in the day, like if your city got taken over by the other guy, it sort of meant that your god was not as good as theirs.
Yeah, they did like a punitive punishment, just like take their god physically from the statue and like imprison it in your city, and just like, what are you going to do? How do you love me now?
Yeah.
So much easier than like going to war with a country. We can just sit at the table.
Sit here and brainstorm.
It's always made me wonder if if there's 2 armies fighting, and let's just say they're both Christian, for example.
Yeah.
And at the start they go, praise God, like that I win this battle, and then the other guy says, praise God that I.
Yeah.
And obviously someone wins and someone loses.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The wrong denomination at the wrong time. It's like, well, obviously we were going to win. Those Catholics over there reek of papery.
So yeah, very happy to have Tim here for this one with his animal expertise. I think some of these are animal-headed gods, so you should presumably know a bit about half of them, or at least their head. You could tell us a bit about that.
At the very least, you could tell us maybe what noise they make.
Yeah, whether they're extinct or not. Maybe you could even tell us if some of these beings actually existed.
Like Aztec gods, I'd say extinct, but like, is Jesus extinct? I don't think so.
Well, I'll ask you just to get an idea of where we're at, Tim. So, Osiris, do you think he was an actual being, or more just like a cultural thing?
Cultural, purely.
What about Muhammad?
I've met Muhammad.
Not your Uber driver. the actual dude. The prophet, the pedophile,
very good at putting
the
pizza
warlord.
boxes together. It was.
So I'll read out Alex has made a list of. So we're doing it like a knockout competition of 16 gods paired off, and then there will only be one winner.
Sunday.
So Alex, I'll just read out the matchups so far. So we've got Brahma, who I believe is a Hindu. Alex has picked these. So Brahma is matched up with Muhammad. Now, I said straight away that Muhammad is not a god. It probably should be Allah or something, but he's picked Muhammad, so we're sticking with it. So we have, just in this podcast, we've, I guess, redefined Islam and elevated their main prophet to godhood. So Muhammad got a promotion. We've got the next matchup is Nana and Shamash, and then Ra and Osiris. Thor versus Poseidon. The matchup of the round, I would say, is Jesus versus Odin. We've got Shiva versus Hades. Talok versus Loki, and then Horus versus Zeus. So it's who knows who's going to win. It's based on the criteria is very vague and not at all well defined.
There was a much larger list, but it was like there's a lot of like fertility gods and like agricultural sort of people, and I'm like, well.
So you went with all the sun gods
Yeah,
instead?
well, I mean, most of them seem to be, which I guess makes sense because it's. I mean, if there's something you'd point to and go, oh, that's probably God. It's probably the sun, you know.
Just for a bit of fun, can we make a last-minute change? I'll leave you to decide. Either, tell us in there for our South American listeners, or Central American. Can we either get rid of Nana, or Shamash maybe, and replace him with a living god, Kim Jong-un.
The man without a butthole. Yeah, let's do that.
Which one shall we... Nana's kind of funny, so Shamash?
Yeah. Save you mispronouncing it.
All right, Kim Jong. The only, as far as we know, currently alive god on this list.
I mean, yes.
All right, so matchup number 1, Brahma versus Muhammad. I've actually never heard of Brahma.
Well,
what's he look like?
As you can imagine, it's got lots of arms and it's sitting in a yoga position. Like,
is this the one that like the multiform?
I think so.
Hindu one, like the creator.
Yeah, there's the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer.
Yeah.
I think the preserver's the blue one, and then you get the Oppenheimer one, which is the destroyer, which we've got. You know.
Nice.
Yeah. Sounds like you've done extensive research.
Oh man, I had sore wrist after all that copy and paste.
So Brahma, the creator god, he's got wisdom and knowledge. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Key attributes for a god. And he's got the power to create cosmic cycles.
Oh, a new epoch.
And he's up against Muhammad, as we all know, the founder and main guy of Islam.
Brahma is also a source of magic, and everything he says has the force of creation behind it, and always comes true. So work around that.
Would it be considered a lie if you said something that always comes true? If the thing that you said was a lie, but then it obviously came true, so therefore it's not a lie. Did you lie to begin with?
I mean, I think that's a capital G God sort of dilemma,
Because here's what I'm thinking in this battle. If Brahma, everything that he says comes true, if he's just like, I win the fight, like how do you beat that?
Well, let's have a look at Muhammad, because, I mean, I don't even know if we need to go through all the other Brahma powers, because that's pretty defining, But I don't know if you guys know much about Muhammad. He's not a god.
Yeah.
Accidental mix-up, but I'm glad he's in the fight. It's, the Prophet Muhammad is revered for his divinely guided teachings, his exemplary character and leadership, including qualities like honesty, mercy, compassion, bravery, humility. And he's seen as the final prophet, a messenger for God, and a role model for Muslims. Not really anything that's going to help.
What powers does he have?
Well, he's, the messenger of God, which again is confusing in a battle
really
royale.
Power.
Yeah.
Male.
Divine inspiration. So, like, Muslims believe that Muhammad received divine revelations from God. Again, not really. The Quran is a literal word of God revealing Muhammad through the angel Gabriel. So, no, not really. And, did he... This is probably where I had the big confusion came in. Is he the one who split the moon in half and flew off on his horse?
He is, yeah.
So you've got moon-splitting powers.
Yeah, that's a pretty big power.
That's it doesn't say on here, but I mean, it also says that his main trait is forgiveness. Which is, I don't think so. But so now that we've got these two sort of lined up, what do we reckon?
Shall we sort of adjudicate a 2 against 1 type situation, or best of 3, so to speak? Because I'm going to say Muhammad should lose because he's not a god, and therefore he's disqualified on the back of that.
His lack of magic, very uninspiring.
Yeah.
The moon splitting thing is pretty impressive, but the moon is actually still up there, so I'm not for that.
Yeah. So obviously Jesus or someone who's come and fixed it up.
Just wished it back with the Dragon Balls.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Brahma gets through.
Yeah.
I think so as well.
Right, there you go,
Sorry,
Brahma.
Waji Momo. You are out of here.
All right, our next matchup is Nana. Don't know if that's how it's spelled Nanna.
Yep.
That's Nana versus Kim Jong-un. The living god.
I think we're going to have to get up some stats for Kim Jong-il, I reckon.
Well, I feel like a lot of things that I would know just off the top of my head, it's Kim Jong-il, what was his... Because the guy right now, it's Kim Jong-un.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was Kim Jong-il was his dad. And then his dad
Kim
was...
Jong's son, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff, it's going to get mixed into one. So
which is fine.
what was some of them? Like, supposedly they just never went to the toilet. Like, just never had to take a dump.
Didn't have a butthole. Just not a thing. His
Yeah.
body consumes so efficient.
Yeah.
He also invented a new kind of math that the North Koreans are pretty stoked about. Like, no, we actually have secrets of the universe. And something like, adding proving the point that you can subtract something by, like, anyway, it's like adding a drop of water to a puddle or something like that. And that's, that's, again, impressive. And it's sort of twisting the laws of reality to your will. Inventing a new mathematics.
It's not like Terence Howard level of 1 × 1 = 2. Or how does it stack against 1 × 1 = 2?
Oh, I mean, I have no idea. You'll have to use your imagination there. I suspect some of it, and I'm sorry if you're listening, could just be communist propaganda.
I'll look up some stuff about the Kim Jongs.
Yeah.
And tell us a bit more about
it's Nana from Mesopotamia. Nana, the Sumerian moon god, governed the moon's phases, ensured fertility and prosperity, and was a figure of wisdom and judgment, overseeing cycles of nature and determining destinies. So determining destinies is, that's a pretty... but doesn't specify his own destiny, so don't know. Some of his powers include controlling the moon's phases and setting the rhythm of the calendar.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Fertility and agricultural prosperity, breast herds, lands, farmers, ensuring abundance and prosperity. Divination and destiny, revealing omens and destinies, through lunar cycles. It's a moon god, so I think it's on theme. Probably, does the god of the moon also have an influence on the tides? But anyway, illuminating darkness. His role as moon god also connected him to the ability to illuminate darkness, which sort of like being able to light up a dark room. Yeah, just a lot of destiny and fertility stuff. Honestly, I mean, it's not super exciting. I think it could actually be quite close if Kim Jong-il can control the moon as well.
Well, Kim Jong-il, some of the things that I found, he the first time he bowled, like 10-pin bowling, he scored a perfect 300, the first time he ever bowled. In his first ever round of golf, he had 5 hole-in-one holes for 38 under par. That was his first round.
It's pretty impressive.
And there's like when he was born, the sky went red. And a star popped into existence. And
wow.
So yeah, he's
so like an actual sun formed.
Yeah, and he was actually this is this is a good bit. Kim Jong-il's official biography says that he was heaven sent, born in a log cabin in Mount Paektu, while his father was fighting the Japanese.
I mean, that's pretty impressive, but is he associated with cattle and dairy products like Nana, the god of the moon, is?
Well, as impressive as Kim Jong is, he's not really that impressive when compared to Nana.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a shame because I mean Nana seems to be quite toothless, but you know can reveal destinies and stuff. Like maybe he sort of goes up to Kim Jong Il and goes, "I'm going to reveal your destiny." Gives him a good right hook. Knocks him out of there.
It's just like an artist choice. Your destiny is death.
It has come. Oh, what do you think, Tim?
I'm really bad at bowling. So I'm going with Kim Jong.
That's 300 bowling's tough to beat.
I can't get 100, so it's
impressive.
It is godlike.
Just a perfect game, you know. Every time.
Well, the first time. It doesn't say anything about the other times that he bowled.
I'm sure if he was asked, I suppose you can't just sort of add it in there, but I mean, it's you know, if someone asked him, it's like, well, no, it got better since then. It's just.
Yeah, 301 the next time.
I'm going to say Nana for her powers of destiny.
Yeah. Well,
you have to have the deciding vote.
Oh, well, no, sorry, I agree. Yeah, 100%.
With who?
You.
Nana gets through.
Unfortunately, Kim Jong-un just didn't quite cut it. But very, very impressive list of traits.
Up next, we've got the all-Egyptian battle. Ra versus Osiris. Oh, here we go. Ra's got control of the sun and the moon. Despite being the sun god, he can control the moon as well.
That's pretty impressive. They're the two big ones in the sky.
Yeah, and he can dispel darkness.
As in, like, darkness be gone.
Yeah.
It's like, I hate when you do that. Just use the light switch. He's like, no. I got one trick and I'm going to use it.
And he's got transformative powers.
As in, just to, like...
Well, actually, he doesn't have transformative powers. He's associated with transformative powers.
Lives down the street from him.
They just made up every now and then.
All right, well, Osiris, god of the afterlife. Osiris, the Egyptian god of the afterlife, fertility, agriculture, and resurrection, was believed to be the judge of the dead and lord of the underworld, granting life and presiding over the cyclical nature of life and death. That's a pretty base power. Chief lord of the underworld, deciding the fates of souls and ensuring their passage to the afterlife. He was associated with the Nile's annual flood, which brought fertile land and new plant life, symbolising resurrection and new beginning. He's a merciful judge, ensuring that the souls of the dead were fairly judged, and is the first king of Egypt. Doesn't control the sun, though.
No, but everyone that, everyone that dies, which is everyone, has to deal with him.
He's just sort of sitting there.
You've got to be in his good books.
And if he decides the fates of souls, I mean, is that like necessarily before the person died, or is it like on the scales, sort of as soon as like, I'm dead, and then like, I
think that because wasn't it that they were when he's like he'd weigh the souls. It was literally like, so your soul weighs this much, and you brought this much stuff to give me about gold or honey or whatever they brought, and it's like, yep, that balances it out.
Yeah,
good job.
Thank you. I love honey. Yum yum yum.
Yeah, I think that's how they thought it worked, not in our
Yeah.
sort of idea of your the goodness of your soul or whatever. It was just you.
Sort of like
How
way
much
more
stuff did
material.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
You gave me your mansion.
Yeah.
You get in.
Sweet. You know, it's like, oh man, I actually didn't die with my wallet on me. But you know, if I could just nick back, there's a crisp 50 in there. You can sort of, and it's like, it doesn't work that way, mate.
No.
It's just luck of the draw.
No,
you know, you died on the toilet without your wallet on hand. Sorry. So, are we kind of thinking that it's probably Ra that is the winner here, or like if Olmate's got like absolute dominion of the afterlife, doesn't really have a huge amount before that, and Olmate controls the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you guys think?
At the same time, if anyone actually wants to come and fight Osiris, they have to literally die first. So he's like, come and fight me, bro. And they're like, yep, die. And then he's like gotcha.
I'm coming, God.
No, I'm saying Ra.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the afterlife, so I don't want to anger Osiris. I'm gonna go Osiris.
You sound like a man who's not had a very good life, and if you're looking forward to your
I'm
death.
gonna peak in the afterlife.
Which heaven? Like, were you thinking
It's for him to decide.
like not the fluffy cloud Saint Peter, you know, sort of thing, not like Valhalla, just really what this guy's gonna sort of
See how my soul weighs.
Christ.
How much coins I got.
Next round is could be a good one. It's Thor of Norse mythology fame and Poseidon of Greek mythology fame.
God of the sea.
Yeah, god of the thunder versus god of the sea.
It's like God of Thunder's a bit like, you know, it's like sound, you know.
You know, I'm reading through the notes you've got here for Thor, and it just feels like you're reading like a Marvel.
The Thor one was really hard because pretty much everything, and like even like this wasn't like I deliberately went out of my way to not do the Marvel one, but you're even reading like the Norse one on Wiki and stuff, and there's so much Marvel that's creeped in there. Like I don't know if the moderators on there are just like adding Marvel shit or.
Thor definitely has a cool factor.
Yeah.
You know, the hammer, lightning, fly around with your hammer. That's pretty cool. Maybe a bit of a defeater for Poseidon. One of Thor's power is he's immortal, meaning he cannot age or die.
You see, I didn't read all of these.
So that would be a tough... and he's a master combatant. So that's... yeah, I mean, the cannot die bit is...
Do you need to go further?
That's tough to beat in a battle.
Well, in something like if you had two immortal characters, then would you, I guess, like do a ring out scenario?
I don't know, but just listen to some of the things, and it sounds like an Avengers movie. So Thor's powers are weather manipulation. You can't really do that, but he can do the lightning bit.
Yeah.
Thor's signature weapon, Mjolnir, grants him enhanced abilities, including high-speed flight, weight manipulation, energy projection using Mjolnir. He can summon Mjolnir from anywhere.
Yeah.
Resurrection. Mjolnir can revive people from death and restore them to optimum health.
It's a hammer.
Mjolnir can transform Thor between his mortal and godly forms. And he's got superhuman strength, immortality.
Yeah.
Don't know, and if he does look like Chris Hemsworth, I mean, it's tough to beat.
I like this illusion detection. He just knows if it's a ruse. It's straight away. Nah.
So if he goes to a magic show, he's just like, bullshit.
No, it's like he's there and he's like his phone rings and he's like, "No, you're telemarketing me. I'm not having this."
You know that thumb illusion where you Thor's just like, no. He's like 2-year-old self back in the day. He's just like, no.
It's like this is how you did it. See, like, sorry, kids. You know. Well, with Poseidon, god of the sea, brother of Zeus, Poseidon has complete dominion over the sea, able to calm it or unleash powerful storms and tidal waves. Pretty ferocious. He can produce earthquakes, demonstrating his influence over the land as well as the sea. So it's like, we'll say land and sea, that's okay. Water manipulation.
of all the, surely of all the superpowers, water manipulation.
Well, it depends, like, what was that, Korra, the spin-off of, Avatar, and that where they just take it to the logical conclusion of like, well, if I can bend water, then I can bend your blood as well.
Yeah, that's true. Or have you seen actual in real life those water jet saws or water blades that people have, and it's like just high pressure water coming out like a pinhole or something.
Yeah.
And it just cuts through, and it like steel, whatever. So maybe Poseidon can do that.
Yeah, it's a great power, but it's just, you haven't run into that immortality.
So if Thor cannot die, could he get his arm chopped off by, say, Poseidon's water jet?
Oh,
interesting. He has accelerated healing though as well.
Yeah, but so he'll have a stub arm and it'll heal.
It's like a little baby arm.
Could you imagine just Thor with 2 stub arms summoning Mjolnir and he's like just like whacks him in the face or something?
Or catching his mouth like. Poseidon also has superhuman strength, like other gods. Other powers include teleport, shapeshift, and potentially restrict the powers of his children.
What's your power? I can just not restrict the power of anyone, just specifically his children.
No, you're not going out this weekend.
You're grounded.
He's also associated with horses, often referred to as the tamer of horses. It's not nothing. And yeah, his domains encompass the sea, rivers, floods, droughts, earthquakes, and horses.
I couldn't think of an animal less suited to the sea. A horse.
Seahorse?
No. And his Poseidon's nature is described as both benevolent, wrathful, reflecting the temporal nature of the sea. So he's a bit hot and cold.
He's schizo. I can't get past the cannot die bit. Maybe it might be a ring out, but I don't know. I think water conducts electricity. Lightning the water.
Yeah, and just like all the dead fish just rise to the top. Okay, like if they were like 2 dudes of a comparable strength, right? Old mate's just got his trident. Old mate's got his hammer. And it doesn't say it's a magical trident, and I think it's literally just like a 3-pronged fork. You have a bit of a sort of stabbing sort of motion, but like, I don't know, I think you had a good point. Thor's just going to like in the water and...
I'm saying Thor.
Yeah. Thor.
Yeah. Sadly, I think...
Sorry, Poseidon.
Off to join Muhammad.
Being grumpy is not a power.
And
it's an attribute.
Matchup of the round. Jesus Christ, that is.
Versus God.
Son of God.
But also
God. Depending on who you ask. Jesus Christ versus... But I suppose we should say... I'll retract depending on who you ask, because if he's included in the Battle of the Gods, we're going with the God version.
Yeah.
Not the ones that say that Jesus was actually the Son of God. We're going with the Trinity, like he is God.
It is the mystery. Yeah.
Maybe we should just write the Trinity. The Trinity. So it's Jesus Christ versus Odin. So, Odin, North mythology. Mythology. North.
I was going to say sandwich.
Also of Marvel fame. You might remember, he's the guy with the eye patch.
Yeah.
One eye. He's. I think this story goes, I forget how it happened, but he essentially sacrificed his eye to gain wisdom.
And then hung himself from a tree as well.
Yeah. So he's known for being very, very wise, the god of wisdom and death, king of the gods as well.
Mm.
And he's got 2 pet ravens.
Well, I mean, it's good for him, you know. It's just obviously looks after them, otherwise they wouldn't hang around.
So this guy's the freaking god of everything. He's the god of wisdom and knowledge, the god of war and death, the god of poetry and magic. He's the ruler of Asgard. He's got the power of divination, shape-shifting. He's a master of magic. I assume the illusionist, stage magician kind. He's the patron of rulers and wanderers and outcasts. And he's known as the All-Father because he's considered the father of gods. He's also a trickster.
Gotcha.
And he's got a spear which can summon and fight, which can cause powerful energy blasts. And he's got an 8-legged horse.
I'd love to see how that works. Is it like a crab?
Yeah.
The horse legs.
And his 2 ravens, to give a bit of context, his 2 ravens fly through the world and report back to him on everything that they see.
Doesn't he have like omnipresence though?
I don't know how much ground a raven can cover. I don't think it's that much.
I bet that sounded like a heap when someone first put pen to paper to this, you know, like,
And I also don't know the type of information a raven's giving me, like, saw a couple of worms over there.
It's a coin. Have you heard the word of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Saviour?
The good news.
The good news. Good morning.
I heard it a bit when I went to Catholic school.
And you reeked of popery. No, the mother. Well, in Christian theology, Jesus Christ is believed to possess divine powers and attributes, including omnipotent, so all-powerful, and omniscience, all-knowing, and omnipresent, so present everywhere, at all times.
It's a tough combo to beat. It's a tough combo.
So he's all-powerful, all-knowing, and present everywhere. Along he has characteristics like love, compassion, and the ability to perform miracles, heal, and raise the dead.
So I guess if we're imagining this as like a fight, like a battle, Jesus is omnipotent, tough to beat. And he knows everything.
Is this after the post-resurrection?
But I guess what I was going to say is because he's like his whole thing is like healing and love and embrace of God and all that. Is he going to be able to deliver the killing blow? I don't know.
Probably just.
Is he more of a lover than a fighter?
He's going to martyr himself again and just like. Oh.
I mean, I don't remember him ever taking the sword or ever recommending taking the sword in the Bible.
He did flip a couple of tables with the moneylenders.
He did.
He just sort of skitzed out one day, like, stop,
I could definitely imagine him flipping the tables and just, I'm sorry about this, guys, but I've got to make the point.
Yeah, and set the table back up and, sorry. So, again, all-powerful, all-knowing, present everywhere, divine nature. Love is considered to be of the same nature as God, but, I mean, he is, so... I don't think healing the sick is going to help him, restoring the sight to the blind. If anything, that's going to, it'll help Odin.
Yeah.
If anything.
Hey, before we start, I'll just...
Yeah, just...
There you go.
Yeah. Power over death, as evidenced by his resurrection and teaching eternal life. Forgiveness of sin. Love and compassion, selflessness, truth, hope. Yeah, what do we reckon? Because he's certainly not immortal.
He's not immortal.
Well, I mean, he is, but I mean, like, he's not above dying for a couple
he
of
can
days.
be killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they did get him.
Yeah. Eventually, his crimes caught up with him.
But then you've got, like, the harrowing of, you know... Oh, I can't even remember what it is. Anyway, it's the, like... You know, you can infer that he beat... You know, by him defeating death... You know, you can also go, well, obviously he went into the underworld and went, you know, took out, you know, Hades and popped back up again.
He had a few guys.
But, you know, so when he comes back, is he out, though? Because, like, if we're waiting 3 days, like, I mean, this has already taken a while to record this, you know.
But if you get killed, that's the end of the...
Yeah.
So if you're crucified, say, during the course of the battle... That's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Jesus.
I think it's too much of a pushover. He let a bunch of stuff happen to him by just a bunch of normal blokes. The idea of him going up against a god.
Yeah. Do you think as well, like... So, like, going into this fight, right, if he's all-powerful, all-knowing, and present everywhere, it'd be like one of those heist movies where, like... At the end, you find the thing was already done at the very beginning, and it's just like the whole thing has just been subversion. It's like, you know,
probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm Odin.
I'm gonna have to say the Christ, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Upholding Western values. Jesus gets through. Sorry, Odin, you weren't quite Western enough.
Just sort of thinking, like, you know, as I'm about to answer, like, probably would be Odin, but, like, this would be an awkward thing to have a chat with bloody St. Peter about. It's like, look, you did everything really well and to the best of your ability, but there's just this one bit here. We just wanted to... What was that about?
So next up, we've got Shiva versus Hades.
Ooh.
You sort of mentioned Shiva before as the...
Destroyer.
Shiva the Destroyer from the Hindu sort of pantheon.
Yeah. The famous I have become death, destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, that's what... I think that's what most people would know Shiva for. And not even know Shiva, but they just know that
line.
That quote. And I did look this up for something else, but have you seen the real quote from that? It's even better.
Is it?
Yeah, because it...
Because I've watched obviously the Oppenheimer one from when they first dropped the bomb.
Yeah, because Oppenheimer, you know, he was obviously the leading guy that developed the bomb or the atomic bomb, and you know, he had to do it, and you know, Germans and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Take that.
And then after it was used, and obviously millions of people died on the back of that, he felt very guilty. And
it's like, well, if I didn't build it, someone else would have, kind of thing.
Yeah, and he was a bit of a polyglot, I think. So he could read Sanskrit, and that's where he came up or got that quote from. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds, and he used that to sort of express his guilt, I guess, at developing the bomb. He sort of translated it loosely or incorrectly. So the real quote. So there was like in the story. There's like a prince or something who there's something that he had to do, and he kind of didn't want to do it. And Shiva essentially shows up and goes like, mate, there's things that we all have to do that just get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, and he says, look at me, I am time itself, and I must one day destroy your world as I have always done.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
It's way better, hey?
It's so much better.
So there you go, that's Shiva. He's a destroyer, but I think I might even say it in there. I think he's also the god of time. Control over time. So he's like...
This tiny world's, you know, like...
Yeah. So if you're the god of time, like, you know, it's the classic, like, it's superhero world. It's the classic Flash thing. Like, if you can just stop time, you just win all the time. Like, you can't...
There's a YouTube animated short that I saw the other day. I think I may have sent it to you, but it's like, you know, Genie appears and he's like, oh, I wish I could stop time. He's like, wish granted. And he's like, psh. And then he just stops, and then because obviously like time is like, you know, objects going through space, you know, sort of thing. It's just like everything stops and just sort of starts floating away. Just broke the universe.
Yeah. I think I did a funny skit once where it was, you know, you could stop time, but you become blind because the light's not moving anymore, so you can't see.
Truly horrifying.
But yeah, I don't think there's much. That sums up Shiva.
It's pretty cool.
I am time. I'm going to just destroy everything like I always have.
Yeah, like... Well, we'll see if we can give Hades a bit of justice. Hades is the Greek god of the underworld, possessed powers like immortality, control over the dead, and the ability to summon the dead, often depicted with a helmet of invisibility. And he's got a 3-headed dog as well, which is a nice little detail.
Yeah.
He control over the underworld and the realm of the dead. He could come summon spirits, so the life of the party, and bring zombies as well. Immortality, like all gods, Hades was immortal and couldn't die. Well, I disagree with some of that statement because we have actually killed a few.
I mean, have you ever played God of War?
It's literally the game. So, again and again and again.
You kill Hades in God of War.
Which one was? I think the second one. Maybe.
One of them.
Yeah. Helm of Darkness. So you can chuck this helmet on and he's invisible. Can't kill me if you can't find me. Played by James Woods in the Hercules movie as well.
Yeah.
Not written here, but just there you go. You know, necromancy, superhuman strength, other powers. Also mention shape-shifting, manipulation of shadows, and darkness.
Necromancy is a bit of a black mark against him. That's like the dark arts.
Yeah, he's a bit of a bad guy.
That's, you know, he's
classic Slytherin.
He's got his leather jacket on. He's like
bit of a bad boy.
Well, here's one to throw into the mix that I think will tip this battle in the favour of Shiva. Shiva sometimes carries a small hand drum, which is used to create the sounds of the universe.
When I read that the other day, I had a good laugh. I'm keeping that in there.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool. And time. You know, like, so I guess I mean Hades is also associated with riches and precious metals. So I mean, maybe if Shiva's up for a bribe, but yeah, I don't know. So like maybe if Hades is immortal, which I mean God of War disagrees with, but
Shiva is also immortal.
Do we think that like in a ring out, you know, Shiva would just stop time, just pick old mate up, and just toss him out of the octagon?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, control of time, it's just so hard to beat. I mean, not even Jesus had that. He's all powerful and all knowing.
You know.
But if you stop time, it doesn't matter how much you know. You can't. You've got no brain function.
You know, well, it still seems like as far as Jesus. Well, it's like from Jesus's perspective, you know, time's a river moving in one direction, you know.
You'd like to think Shiva's like pro-life in that situation. Like, if Jesus is like brain dead after he stopped time, he's like, yeah, I'll switch time back on.
There we go. That seems a bit unfair. So I think because we went straight to Jesus, and we're guessing that Hades probably doesn't stack up to...
Well, I'm also, in the back of my mind, if Hades wins it, I know this is not the format, but if Hades wins, he's up against Jesus next.
And Jesus beats Hades, hands down.
Jesus is Lord of the Dead or whatever it was. So
he defeated death.
He defeated death.
Yeah.
Hades is death. So
went into the realm of Hades.
I'm saying Shiva would win this one.
The Destroyer.
Yeah,
the name.
I mean, he's the Destroyer.
The only one with like a cool actual fight name.
So this is what you get when you mess with the Destroyer.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Right, Shiva's through.
What a guy.
Up next we have Talok versus Loki.
Ooh. We've got a bit of Norse mythology versus a bit of Aztec mythology here. Two pantheons that definitely interacted with each other.
Yep, they knew quite a lot about one another. So Talok is the Aztec god of rain and fertility. And he was a powerful deity who was revered and feared for his control over the water, storms, and agriculture, and he's able to bring both bountiful harvests and devastating droughts. That's everything, really.
Yeah, very hot and cold.
Now, but yeah. So, he's, like I said, control of water. Certain illnesses such as leprosy and rheumatism are believed to be caused by Talok. So he can give you leprosy. Even if he doesn't win, like he'll just poke you on the cheek or something, and
off you go to the leprechaun.
This might help him in a fight. He's often depicted, with large round eyes, good to see, and long fangs.
He's not Asian then.
Good in a fight. Oh, he's got a magical rattle.
Oh,
it's not just any rattle. This rattle brings thunder.
Oh, okay. So it's really noisy.
And that's Talok.
How, Timbo, being the animal expert, I can't really see from here, and I drink too much, and I don't remember what I put on the bottom. How would you describe the physical features of Talok?
They're saying that he is a serpent, but he looks more like a bird to me.
Well, there you have it.
That's an expert opinion.
Loki, god of mischief.
Can I just say?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Talok was a bit disappointing. Is that the god of rain is not?
I was a bit disappointed with the Aztec gods.
I think Loki's going to win. Just on the back of that.
On the back of that. Yeah. Well,
shall we call it for Loki and? I'll say Loki.
Yeah, I reckon
Loki.
Or just, you've got telekinesis. So, I mean...
Well, that beats rain.
Yeah.
And his magic rattle that can bring thunder.
Fucking pussy. Off you go.
And then the last matchup of the round is Horus versus Zeus. From Greek mythology, he's also known as King of the Gods, Tim, which means a king is like someone who has dominion over all the other gods.
Didn't they say... Wasn't that Odin in the other one?
But Odin lost to Jesus, saying...
I forgot.
Classic.
Zeus is the king of the gods. He's often... Every time I ever see him in like a TV, he's always like an old dude with a big, huge beard and often shirtless. He's always jacked, so he's working out.
In the Disney movie, it was orange. But, it's probably just on top of the clouds, getting tan, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd sort of add that.
But yeah, I think was he in the movie, in one of the movies, he was Liam Neeson, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big plus.
That's definitely.
Pretty big plus. He can do all kinds of things. He's got control over fate. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I guess it means like the fates in...
You can manipulate the fates.
And in the mythology, yep.
That's a hard one to beat if he just has a word with them before before you get in the ring.
As I said, he was pretty jacked. He could banish people to Tartarus. I thought Tartarus was the afterlife.
Think so, or it's where the Titans.
So by banishing someone, he just killed him. It's like I banish you. They never come back.
Where do they go? Don't know.
Oh, this is a hard one to beat. He can turn people or objects into other forms, such as animals. That's good. That's up your alley, Tim. Objects or celestial bodies. He could
turn the sun into a duck or something.
No, he could transform you into the sun.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, and he's got that pretty cool thunderbolt.
Mm.
I guess that's like...
I mean, it's a cherry on top, really. It's a hat on a hat on a hat.
You know, I guess that's just him, like, you know, causing thunder or lightning storm. They're like, oh, Zeus is there with his lightning bolt. But it's always depicted as like this... It's kind of like a spear that looks like a...
Yeah, he's like
a lightning bolt. And it's always... Like, it's pretty cool. It's a cool weapon.
It's very cool.
And he like chucks it, and whenever he chucks it, it just like transforms into just a bolt of lightning.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
It's like, fuck that guy, you know, specifically that guy down there.
I like how they've just included here that his father, Cronus, castrated his grandfather with a scythe.
That's a bit rude.
I don't know why that's a plus for Zeus, but...
And he's got the fight. He's got the never give up mentality. You know, like because was his father was there was a prophecy or something that Cronus received that one of his children would essentially kick him out and usurp the throne of the gods.
Didn't like eat all of his children.
Yeah, so he ate them all, and then the last one, Zeus, the last one born, it's called the Omphalos stone. I forget who it was. I think anyway, someone tricked Cronus into eating this stone, whom he thought was baby Zeus. So he eats the stone, and then Zeus goes off to Crete to get raised by like goats or something. I think, and then say, you know, for like 16 years or until he grows up, he's just like building this rage and revenge and
like, I know what you did.
Goes back and kills and cuts open his belly to free all the other gods who'd been growing in Kronos, just like a pregnant lady.
They're a bit of a confused culture, I think.
So he cuts them out, and that's like Poseidon and Hades and all these guys. And so you know he's got a bit of bit of fight about him, Zeus. Like he's not just going to give up and.
But doesn't let things go.
No.
I mean, like, he doesn't even kill his dad, does he? He imprisons him.
He sends him to Tartarus.
Yeah, and just sort of...
By probably killing him.
Well, yeah, I think right from the get-go, I thought, I was like, well, I think this is going to be one of the one of the main players to watch, because it's pretty cool, to be honest. But anyway, I digress. Well, we've got Horus, god of the sky and kingship. He's from ancient Egypt. He was the god of sky, kingship, and protection, often depicted as a falcon. Hey, Tim. A falcon-headed man, and was association with the pharaohs and as their protector and defender. Protecting the pharaohs, describes what he's wearing, which is not avenger of wrong.
Is he shirtless with a lightning bolt in his hand?
He's not. Does have a bird head though.
Now, what do you think, Tim? Could a giant bird head man, could he like somehow peck his eyes out, or like peck him, or do something bird-like to somehow distract him?
I'm just gonna say first, this one definitely is a bird, as opposed to the one that might have been a snake. Yeah, I reckon it'd give him a good peck.
In time, Horus combined with the sun god Ra to form a new deity. So, like, I don't know, like Transformers or something.
Yeah.
You know, Ra Hakiti, god of the sun who sailed across the sky during the day. So it's kind of Apollo. That's what I'm hearing.
What bird is on his head? Like what bird is he?
A falcon.
A falcon, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was thinking of the ibis one. I was like, he's probably just going to eat chips or something.
He's just got part bin chicken, part man.
Well, I think on the back of that, I've got to give it to Zeus.
Yeah.
Zeus is a pretty impressive figure.
I can't believe no one's actually sat down and worked this out before. Like, this is easy. We've entered round 2.
Well, I was going to actually say we might just leave it there for this episode, and then we've done the first round, and then I think the next one we'll finish it off. I think so. We'll leave it there. Thank you for anyone that is still listening. I apologise.
Hey, future Alex, you did really good.
And come stick around for part 2 of Battle of the Gods.
Dun dun.